following program is a rock music-based podcast. G'day Gridiron, G'day Gridiron. Now you've heard the best and worst of them, and now you're about to hear the first of them. The first to ever do it down under. We're here to steal your thunder, like the world's end down in Thunderdome. Welcome to our second home. All you need to know is G'day. This is G'day Gridiron. 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 This is G'day Gridiron.
G'day Aussie Gridiron fans and welcome to the G'day Gridiron podcast brought to you by the Aussie Gridiron Network. My name is Ian Tomlinson. Boys are all here with me. Isaac Kernity, Nick Cosme, and of course, Brad Cummins. How are you going, Brad?
Beautiful. I've got my, as you can see behind me, I've got my $10 Temu. They listed it as the prayer flag. So I'm not sure if that's like in order for the Cowboys to win, you have to pray. But whatever.
You better hope that's a shooting star.
I was just happy. Don't say shooting to an American. We'll take you up on it. Sorry.
$10 from Temu sounds about right from the Cowboys as well.
Yeah. It came this week, so I was very happy to hang it up behind me as in my background. So, you know, I'm living the dream.
It's basically the cost of your D-line right now because he won't actually sign anybody.
Well, they could hold somebody about as good as the D-line. That flag could stop somebody about as good as the D-line. So, hey. And anyway, moving along. Nothing to see here.
Speaking of linemen, how you going, Nick?
Good.
Segue, by the way. That's a segue.
Yes. No, good. Just still preparing to go back up to Queensland. So, yeah, loving every minute before go again.
And Isaac, it's been a couple of weeks, mate. How you going?
I'm very good, very, very good. And just for the viewers out there that won't see my name on when we're recording, it's Penalty Queensland.
Oh, jeez.
We're into state origin talk already.
Wow, that took all of 30 seconds.
And
That's what she said.
just like the darkness that just like the darkness that we're all going into around state of origin. It's winter time in the middle of New South Wales right now, so I'm cold as balls. So if you are listening to this on a podcast on Spotify or Apple, and you want to see a grown-ass man sitting in his garage wearing an hoodie talking sports and trying to be serious about the NFL, tune into YouTube. You'll find us on Pastry Press NFL on YouTube, or you can just Google G'day Gridiron or search for G'day Gridiron on YouTube even. You can have a laugh at me sitting here in an hoodie featuring Mexican foods that my kids kindly picked out for me. And this week I am incredibly warm since it's only 1 degree out right now. Dark times in the NFL ahead, boys. Dark times. We're heading into the end of training camps, the start of the 40-day wilderness period where all 32 teams go on holidays to much better climates and try not to play up on boats with pink pills. I wonder whether Stephon Diggs is going to just start working now while everyone else goes away. But anyway, it's dark times, so there's not a lot to talk about. There's a few news items, and we'll probably get to them, but you know what? There's a lot of sport happening, a lot of sport around the globe. Isaac has already mentioned State of Origin. Of course, State of Origin was the manufactured version of State of Origin, which is just done to sell tickets, was played on Wednesday night here. And by that I mean that the team that was doing badly had to win because otherwise they can't sell tickets to a Game 3, Isaac.
Well,
It's rigged.
I must say, I've got to give kudos to Ashley Klein because no one has the absolute balls to go on national television and rig a game the way he did in that first half. My God. Having a penalty count of 8-0 in the first half, Like, just, it was like your missus asking you to be a cuckold. You're watching her, you just get fucked right in front of you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Of course, these,
We
so Brad, these
apologize.
conversations in Queensland generally go hand in hand because that's what
Holy.
happens up in your state, especially in the football territories.
That took a dark turn.
We're only 4 minutes into the podcast, so well done, Isaac. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I didn't really watch it. I listen to people. I vaguely follow it, but I just think I don't know. Origin. We need to start having a conversation about whether Origin is the way Origin is. Has it gone in the right direction? You know, how do they fix this? Is it even at the right time of year? I don't believe it's at the right time of year because there's just something wrong. These guys, they're going out, they're barely even trying today. I'm not one for like, I prefer the old days over this new stuff, like kind of person. Like, oh, I want all the old stuff back and to bring back the Biff nonsense and all that sort of shit. But there was a time, I don't know, in the 90s and early 2000s where guys genuinely played for Origin and actually played for a state and gave half a shit. But these guys, I don't know what the hell's going on. And it's why I sort of said, when I woke up on Thursday morning and I looked and I heard the scores and I'm like, Queensland won in a nail biter. Ah, righto, cool. So we've just manufactured it so that we can sell tickets for Game 3. Because if we let New South Wales walk all over them like they were going to do, then there's no way we're going to sell tickets for Game 3. So.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think at least from what obviously this is new to me. All right, so I've only been in Queensland for a couple of years, but people here have told me that it traditionally sells out irregardless, just because of the pride factor that so many people have. But
it kind of does, but the problem is that Game 3 is in Sydney. And the problem with Sydney people is that if something isn't on the line, if there's not a high stakes to something, or if it's not going to be exciting, they just go, no, fuck it, we'll stay in for the night.
Yeah.
And because it's streamed on Foxtel and on 9 as well, which is terrible coverage, but like it's already on TV channels as well because of the huge marketing potential around it and the amount of money that's in that game. People are more likely just to stay at home and not buy tickets to go to Accor Stadium because it's a pain in the ass to get to. It's a pain in the ass to leave. It's a pain in the ass in the stadium. It's incredibly expensive. Like, if it's not exciting, you're not going to go to it. So, yeah.
Well, I bet you what would happen. I bet you it'd be a sellout because they've probably already pre-sold the tickets. But you'd get people that wouldn't bother even coming. I mean, you see that a lot. You see, if you're at the game, congratulations to the sellout, and you look around, you're like, this thing's like 60% full. It's not a sellout.
Yeah.
But the better team didn't win on Wednesday night. I watched it, and at halftime, I was ready to turn it off, and you kept it on, and it's just.
I still think, my personal opinion is state origin needs to be at the end of the season. I'm all about seasons. I'm all about this comes from English football stuff where the team matters, and the money the team is bringing in matters. So I still think it needs to be at the end of the year and it needs to roll into international games so that you can play state origin, you can pick the Australian squad from the state origin teams, and then you're just rolling. But no, they insist on having it in the middle of the year and fucking half the teams in the league.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. I'm happy with it in the middle of the season because everyone's still playing. Like, if you have it after the season, after the finals, you've got guys that don't make the top 8 and don't make the finals that aren't playing for 2 months, and then they're meant to walk into the biggest stage of the game and play at their best. So
most of the time they're going to pick them from those top 8, though. That's the difference, though.
yeah.
I don't know, the NRL in this country needs to take more of the stance of the NFL, where they try and own the entire calendar as well. Like, it goes,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. How did it start? Like, how long's it been going?
Oh God, Brad, you want a history of state origin?
Well, just briefly, I'm just like, why did they do it? Was it a cash grab? Was it like a way to make extra money, or was it just strictly like pride, like state pride, Queensland versus?
At the start, it was Brisbane or Queensland comp that was just Brisbane based. They weren't overly good, and then you had the main competition down in New South Wales.
Okay.
And not until they come together and expanded into Queensland did it become the mate versus mate, state versus state type thing.
Okay.
So So that's when it got really, really big.
Okay, when the league expanded into Queensland.
When the league become the national type of thing, a bit like when the ABA and that merged into the NBA.
Okay, yeah.
So they had two competitions that eventually come together, and then State of Origin was born from that.
I love how they call it the national. Is it called the National Rugby League?
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's only played in 2 states and a territory.
Yeah, but
Two states and one team in Melbourne.
the AFL's Aussie, and there's no team in Darwin.
They're going to have WA now.
Yeah, but that's one bloody state. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
Because the Perth Bears, like people were joining a gay group rather than the Perth Bears because they went with a different type of bear.
if we go,
That's true. It's a true story, Brad. It's a true story.
if we're going on one state, Nick, AFL don't have a team in Canberra or Tasmania.
Nah, don't worry about Canberra. No one cares.
Shout out Matty Manja.
I love those guys. They're the only good guys that down there in Canberra. Like, I cannot stand that place. So when they're once played a game, no, hate it.
Never again.
Never again. Don't worry about it.
But anyway, that's State of Origin. We've got a decider, which is what the NRL wanted. The revenue, the viewership, that's
The hype.
the height. It's
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
All right, let's move on then. NBA Finals. The Pacers take it to Game 7. First Game 7 since 2016 with an absolute beatdown on OKC in Game 6. Nick, one hell of a final series so far.
Oh man, it's such an underrated series, and I think it's because it's two small market teams, and it's literally like OKC has pretty much come up through the draft, right? They made a couple of really good deals. They had a bunch of picks, and they've hit on a lot of these guys, which is why they are where they're at. And like they play great defense. It's like one of the best defense we've seen in so long. They've got a superstar who's won MVP. The Pacers, they've got some guys that they've drafted as well and put together a team. So, it's really what fans would come to expect. But then there's no real hype around it. And then it's like, this series has gone to 7 games. It's been such a good series to watch, and really, it's good that it's going 7 games. And it really, to be honest, it only really is because of the Halliburton winner in Game 1.
Yeah.
Because that has kept them in
Dirty.
this series.
To you.
But, it's good. It's good that it's actually gone 7 games.
Nick's you got a genuine hate for Tyrese Halliburton.
Me?
Yeah.
What for?
Listen to you. It's only because of that.
Oh no, he's
he's
right.
Because he's had, like, in every round, I think he's the only player to have a game-winning shot in every series of every round in the playoffs. Like, he did one against the Bucks, against the Knicks, and there was someone else that they played. I'm forgetting now. Whoever they played in the second round.
yeah, Cleveland.
Cleveland, that's right, Cleveland, and then obviously the Thunder. So he is literally like they play such a great brand, but it's like they get to the end and it's like they find a way. It's like when you watch the Chiefs and you just get to the end and it's like, all right, they're gonna win. Or you used to watch Tom Brady and it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna win. It's like that sort of thing, but they don't have that experience, so it's such a weird thing. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Brad?
Oh, dude, it's been a great series, except for today's game. Today's game was, yeah. But I think what makes it so good, is that they're teams that just grind it out. They're 90s kind of style. Hey, and this is what the NBA playoffs is about. Teams actually care, players actually care, so they're really trying on defense. And and when you have two teams that are evenly matched, these two teams are evenly matched, you can have some great back and forth. So I gotta admit, I'm not a huge Halliburton fan, just because of the whining factor.
The whining.
I feel like the dude. I mean, he's a great player. I'll give him that. But I just feel like somebody just stuck a stick up his ass, and he's
He's playing with a chip on his shoulder because of that thing that went around about
Most
they asked a
overrated.
bunch of people who's
Yeah.
the most overrated player.
Yeah.
And obviously
Yeah.
since
Was it the
then he's
players
gone
that
on and
voted
hit
that?
multiple game winners, and he's come up big. So
yeah,
Was that? I heard that. Was that the players that voted that?
yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was the players.
It was. It
The
was.
players voted. Who asked the players to vote for the most overrated
that's-
player? What a ridiculous thing to
a weird
vote
question.
on.
Well, it was
It is a weird
anonymous, and it was the Athletic.
Still.
They did a poll on it, and
But you still don't. I don't know if you ask the players to do it. I mean, I can understand asking media people and the public. Like, I get that part. Like, you do that, and then you just don't take any notice of it. But if you've asked your peers to review each other and say who's the most overrated, that's kind of
They
weird.
do it every year. Every
yeah,
year they do
yeah,
it.
they did. Yeah,
It's what I'm saying.
Weird.
Is
It's
it not
very
weird?
weird.
It's weird. It's weird.
The media like to have a different perception on players as the player group do. So they do it to get a perspective of the players and not the media, who the media want to push.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's the reason I think they do ask the players.
yeah, yeah. Isaac, are you going for Indiana in this, or are you?
Most certainly. I want if this isn't set up for Tyrese Halliburton to absolutely hit a bomb on the buzzer. Oh man. He's as Nick said, he's done it. He's done it in all the series. They've been underdogs in every series. Against the Bucks, they were underdogs. Against the Cavs, they were underdogs. Knicks, underdogs. They're underdogs in this one. That's why I want them to win, because they just keep getting it done.
Hang on,
I
I think
It is.
I need to
it
confirm.
It is just.
though.
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
I need to confirm. Is this more so because you like the Pacers or you don't like SGA? Because there's two
No.
different answers, and a lot of people is more so because they hate the Thunder because of SGA and the fouls and everything.
No, because I think there's a person worse in the NBA of him than foul baiting, and that's Brunson. So I don't mind SGA, right? So
Okay.
I'm going just purely off the fact that they've been underdogs in every series and they've won every series, and they're probably going to do it again.
You reckon they're going to win Game 7
Yep.
in Oklahoma City?
Do you really?
Yeah,
Ooh.
100%.
Ooh, that's a tall order. I
Yeah. That is hard.
think-
it would be fitting if they did, and I think you're right that would be appropriate if Holly Ban did make the buzzer beater.
Let's not.
But
The only thing I want in a Game 7 is for Scott Fisher not to be officiating.
Oh, dude, nah, get rid of that guy.
The only thing I'd like for a Game 7 is to it not be on Monday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's just rubbish.
yeah.
I remember when it was like 9 years ago. I just remember still being in school at the time, just watching it, and just obviously paying no attention to the outside world. Just on
You
that
can,
game.
you can still tell,
Yeah.
like, American sports still haven't figured out that if they put shit on a Saturday,
Put it on
then
a Saturday.
The rest of the world get to tune in at the same time, and your numbers will be through the roof. Or you think the NBA, considering the NFL are trying to destroy them in everything, you think the NBA would have gotten around to that pretty quick. But no, still haven't.
That's the
Yeah.
one thing, you know what I must say, with the AFL, that's the one thing that they've done well. Just have the final on a Saturday.
Oh, 100%.
Don't worry about Sunday. Have
except
it on a
I would
Saturday.
say it needs to be later in the day. I think it needs to be
Nah, I love
twilight.
I love the daytime slot. No, I love it.
So-
I love it.
Yeah, they
Because
tried,
you know what?
They
They-
tried nighttime ones, and they were a bomb.
Because they tried in 2020 and 2021 where they had to move it from Melbourne. So they had the 2020 in Brisbane and the 2021 in Perth, and they both had them as nighttime games, and it was no good. Because you end up like waiting the whole day. You don't really make an event out of it. Whereas when it's like 2:30 on the Saturday,
3 o'clock,
like, you
2:30,
can have
3
lunch.
o'clock kickoffs are
You get
perfect.
together, you have like you hang around afterwards, you celebrate the season, it's a good time.
Because all your pre-game stuff, which takes usually like an hour and a half to 2 hours anyway, is that lunchtime part. So you got that on in the background. It's kind of like Thanksgiving, Brad, where you would have you got the TV on in the background. Everyone gets together for lunch.
Yeah.
And they have something to eat, and you share a meal, and then everyone's there, and then you put the best Thanksgiving game at the point just after lunch, like an hour and a half after lunchtime, so that everybody is there, and that's the way it is. So that's kind of what it is, the grand finals. It's perfect at like 2:30, 3 o'clock kickoffs. Bang on time.
It's what
Perfect time of year too, because the weather's great. You can be outside with a barbecue. You can have everyone around.
I agree with Nick. It's what the AFL has over the NFL. not NFL, sorry, the NRL.
NRL.
Like the NRL,
Yep.
that State of Origin game, NRL's meant to be a working class person's game. Tradies and everyone go there. It's
State of Origin isn't anymore.
and even
No
the
way.
grand final, it starts at 8:15. Like, what kids are going to want to stay up at 8:15
Yeah.
and watch the game
Yeah.
to 10 o'clock? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a weird time slot.
Plus, I like getting up early, so put it on earlier, please.
Yeah, and you get time afterwards as well. You finish the game, a bit of time
Well,
afterwards.
that's right. You got to calm down after the game because you're so angry.
Yeah, like if I'm at the game, if I'm being at the game,
Well, if you're at the game too, you don't get home till midnight, 1 o'clock.
yeah, 100%, man. I'll be smashed, but that won't happen.
Yeah, it's different for a younger adult when you're supposed to be in a family atmosphere, though, Nick. That's the difference.
Yeah, I know, but
can't have it
you
as a
still end
family
up
game.
like. Yeah, but
Can
that's
I just,
right. If you have it later,
just while we're there, that's the other part. I don't know what's it like. What ticket cost usually like for AFL grand finals, Nick?
I hadn't been to a grand final. I've been to
Just
prelims,
roughly,
but
do you
I
know?
think
Are they up? Are they way up there?
Oh yeah.
I think the
They're
cheapest
expensive.
is. I'd have to ask my dad because he's been to them, but that was years ago. But I think the cheapest for an AFL grand final ticket's about $180.
Jesus.
I think it's way more than that even now.
Nah, I think if you're in the nosebleeds at the MCG, I think it's about $180. If you're on the bottom deck, if you're on the bottom level, I think you'd probably be looking at. You'd probably be looking at about $500 on the bottom level at the MCG on grand final day. You're probably looking at about $500.
I reckon it's a
right.
lot more.
But the biggest difficulty, and it's probably the same in the NRL, is that they only allocate, because it's a 100,000 seat stadium, obviously the MCG, but they only allocate 30,000 to each team, and then the rest is corporate. So obviously, if you're a big club like in the AFL, you got your Collingwood, your Essendon's, the West Coast, or whatever. If they got a big supporter base, it's very hard to even get the chance to buy a ticket. So I'm surprised
Yeah.
it's
I
not
just
even
had a look.
it's more expensive.
Origin 3 tickets are on sale, and they start at $194 for adults,
Jeez.
and you only get a $10 discount for juniors, so 4 to 15s, so $184 for a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
If you're going to take your kid,
Crazy.
It is a decider, though.
yeah,
I
but it's still
suppose.
that's just nuts.
So if I
It is
if I
nuts,
wanted to go with my family, that's $1,000 to go to a game.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
or $549 for families. It says, but it doesn't really say what a family ticket
Yeah.
is. Anyway,
Well, what do you guys think it's going to be when the NFL comes here in a little over a year from now?
I've
well,
already
I
done
think we're
research.
going to be. I think we're going to be paying like nearly like $150 to $200 a ticket, Brad.
At
Yeah.
least.
Oh,
And that's-
But it's a
absolutely.
one-off thing. That's a big one-off thing. Like it's a one-off event, which I don't mind because these days you're still paying that for concert tickets as well.
Yeah.
Even outside of your Katy Perry's and whatever.
Yeah.
Who Nick's going to see ad nauseum this week in Adelaide.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, Nick gets to see him gets paid to see him.
Well, I think with the NFL, Brad, our tickets are going to cost probably nothing. The way our podcast is going, we'll be getting blind and dined.
Sponsorships. And,
Hopefully everyone's going
ESPN
to
will air us like the Pat McAfee show,
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're shooting
just,
for. So if everyone can just get on the socials, make sure you like everything. Start with some comments. Share it around even. Share it everywhere. Anything we post from Aussie Gridiron Network, just post it all. Repost it. Just get onto it all for us so that, we might be able to do a show from a game and someone will give us some tickets to go. That'll be really good.
And even when we talk about the NBA, because the NBA is coming to Melbourne, I'll talk about the NBA with Taylor and whoever. Yeah, we'll go
Sure.
mental. I'm happy to do
No
that.
problem at all. Speaking of NBA, I'm going to segue it again. Speaking of NBA and ridiculous prices, LA Lakers sold majority ownership. The Buss family sold the majority of the ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers to Mark Walter, who is the CEO and chairman of a diversified holding company, TWG Global, who also, okay. Well, they also have the ownership or interest in the LA Dodgers, the LA Sparks, Chelsea, and the Professional Women's Hockey League, the whole league. Good Lord. and through TWG Motorsports, Walters owns several auto racing teams, including Cadillac Formula One. So these people have got a lot of money. So they now have an 85% ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers, and the team itself and the whole corporation was valued at $10 billion. That is a BILL. $1 billion.
That's 10 zeros.
It's huge. Absolutely ridiculous, Brad.
It is. It is absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, it's just numbers that the average person can't even fathom.
They're numbers that are even mind-boggling for a math teacher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't even put it on the calculator, standard calculator. You know? That's when you know it's mental.
Well, Brad teaches the kids how to put boobs in the calculator, but that's different.
On a scientific calculator too.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Sorry, Brad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. The amount of kids that I see do that, I'm like, really? Come on, you know, you're 12 now. Are we past
If you don't
this?
do it,
Perfect age. What are you talking about? That's when they're
definitely do
learning
that.
these things.
When you're bored, you definitely go 80085.
Oh, the fact that you know the numbers. Come on now, Ian.
I'm not. What are you talking about?
Come on. You know.
It's just numbers, Brad.
But you remember, how can I make boobs in the calculator? I can just see you underneath your desk. I'm going to
Well, underneath the desk. I do it on the desk.
Oh, that's not the only thing you do on the desk.
We used to carve shit into the desk back in the day.
Oh,
We
yeah.
Still I'm on that ilk. Yeah.
Yep.
You get the old protractor out. And
Whoa. Is that a euphemism for something?
now it's an old protractor, Brad. It wasn't back then. It was definitely young and sprightly back then. Anyway,
All right.
$10 billion is a ridiculous amount of money for a sporting team franchise. NFL-wise, how do you boys reckon some teams would compare? We all know, and Brad is like, this is why Brad loves the Cowboys. The Cowboys definitely would probably fetch the biggest price tag. Do you reckon they would get near the $1 billion mark these days? Like the $10 billion mark, I should say.
No, I don't think they would get the $10 billion mark. But they say that they're the most valuable sports franchise. So it's possible, and NFL's the most valuable league. So you have theoretically the most valuable team with them in the most valuable league. So yeah, maybe.
Of course, when you're talking valuation of a team, and everyone thinks about just the team itself. So it doesn't matter that the team is garbage and the players are on it. That's not the thing you're valuing.
No.
You're valuing the franchise, how much money they bring in, ticket sales, the things that they own, so their stadiums, etc., or the ownership percentage in their stadiums, their practice facilities, all that kind of stuff. That's in the valuation. So, you could have a terrible franchise and they could still be worth a lot of money. Who else do you reckon would be right up there? Nick?
Oh, who else? I was
Reckon
gonna
there's
say
someone
in
else up
terms
there?
of the valuation that Dallas.
I
would
know
get.
one. I know one that would be right up there that most people wouldn't think about straight away, and it is largely because of a nearly brand new stadium, and that would be the Raiders. Those, yes, Brad. Because globally, again, Cowboys, the Stars are up there, but that shield, the Raiders shield, has always been out there everywhere.
Everyone's hat,
it is
everything.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
But they got that. They've got a brand new stadium that isn't like wholly owned by the franchise, but it is like a fair chunk of it. Plus, they built brand new training facilities, practice facilities, all that sort of stuff in Vegas when they moved. Massive investment, investment. And I reckon they would be way up there with the Cowboys. Not as much, but I reckon it'd be right up there too.
I think it's a clear. To be honest, I think if there's anyone that would be second to what the Cowboys would fetch it, at the moment it would probably be. To be honest, it'd either be the Chiefs because of how they are at the moment, and because you don't have to change much. The other one would be purely because of location and, the stadium, like a bit of what you're making with your points, Ian, but it would be probably the Rams
Yeah.
because of their location.
Well, I don't think the Chiefs own anything, because they're about to get the state to build a new Arrowhead, basically.
But it's more so because I think about this because this is why Dallas is by far.
There's still marketing. Yeah, there's the marketing potential is huge in all of it.
Yeah.
Like I get what you're saying.
It's all
Yeah.
factored into it.
The reason why, and I say this as a Lakers fan, if Dallas sold tomorrow, they should be getting at least, I think, 12, 13 billion. They should be getting, because they are on every Thanksgiving. They should be on maybe every Christmas. They always have the highest, amount of eyeballs. They have not made an NFC championship game in 30 years. Now, I'm not saying that as a bad thing in this case, but it's a point as to why they'd still get the most, because it's like, imagine if you get owners that know what they're doing and put them into this team with all those eyeballs and that brand and everything. I say this as well in English football. I'm a United fan. We've been shit for fucking 12 years, but yet we still have all the eyeballs, all the money and everything. If we sold today to the Arabs, which I hope, please God, bring them to United, we would fetch billions. We'd probably be fetching as much, if not more, than the Lakers. But for that same reason, it's the amount of fans, it's the brand, it's everything like that. So for me, the Lakers is probably one of three brands that would probably fetch a valuation like this. It'd be Dallas, obviously the Lakers, and probably the other one in terms of brand is probably the Yankees. Like in terms of how much they could probably get because of their brand. And the only reason I'd put the Chiefs
I can give you one more.
Oh, I've got one.
Who?
I can give you. You go, Isaac. Go, Isaac.
Along the lines of the Cowboys and all that type of stuff, I think it'd be the Jets.
The Jets?
Yeah.
Nah, I'll give you a better one. Patriots.
Yeah, true. Patriots.
Robert Kraft wholly owns Gillette Stadium, and they own, I just looked it up, Patriot Place, which is in Foxborough, all around, surrounds Gillette Stadium, 1.3 million square feet of retail space. Wholly and solely owned by the Kraft Group. So that would be them selling that. That is Patriot Place. So that would go along with it, the entirety, that entire entertainment destination, plus the Patriots franchise, 20-year dynasty, all that kind of stuff.
We've kind of forgot about that 20-year dynasty now. The Chiefs are in town. Like there'll be so many kids growing up that go for the Patriots because of Tom Brady, Gronkowski, Belichick. So.
And how much did the Commanders go for? 6 or 7?
I think it was 7. I think it was closer to 7.
So you're telling me that the Cowboys couldn't go for potentially double what the Commanders did? Come on now, sure.
I think they could, because
that's what I mean. That's 14 billion.
6.05 billion. So $6 billion.
And to what Brad was saying,
the stadium that's falling apart.
Yeah, literally. And to what Brad was saying before, like the reason that a lot of these NFL teams, if owners were borderline about selling now, might probably consider it is because, like Brad said, the NFL is king in America. It's a machine. Like, it is so far ahead of everyone else. So that's why they could fetch those valuations, because of the deals that they do have and the eyeballs that they get.
They're close to the biggest league in the world. So they're definitely the most... Oh, no. Probably wouldn't even be the most expensive league in the world these days. Still, I think EPL is still got... The Premier League still has that title. But that's just because the round ball game gets played universally. And massive amounts of money across the entire world, basically. So, other NFL news? You want to move on to some other NFL news?
Yeah.
Jair Alexander signs with the Ravens, 1 year, $4 million, with $2 million in bonuses able to be achieved as well. And that's mostly tied to actual performance time rather than performances on the field. So, as is the case with Jair Alexander, who hasn't been able to stay on the field the last couple of years, he has some performance clauses in terms of just being able to be ready or available for a game. But then it's probably the biggest thing that has happened this week. The Ravens, and I had put this out on socials during the week, so make sure, again, to like and follow everything on Instagram at G'day Gridiron and Facebook, and you'll be able to join in on some of those sort of conversations we'll put out here and there. But I reckon, boys, the Ravens might just have, or probably do have, the best secondary in the entire league right now. Definitely in the AFC, I would say, but most likely in the entire league. We've got Nate Wiggins, Cole Hamilton, Malachi Starks, Jair Alexander, Marion Humphrey. Get it right, Ian. And then Chidobe Awuzie ends up as your sixth man in the secondary at the moment. Like, that is insane. The talent on that roster now on defense is huge. And of course, last year the Ravens, they started woefully on defense, but they really came good towards the back end of the year, Brad. But I think that they've just gone out and addressed their number one concern straight away.
It's unreal. And if they don't have the best, they certainly have the deepest. So, which then by proxy kind of makes them the best. But it's the whole. They'll be able to withstand attrition. You've seen the Bills, and as they just kind of withered away. Sorry, not the Bills, but the Ravens as they withered away. And what it cost them. It's cost them a deep run in the playoffs. The question I have is, who do you think is the one team that is pissed off about this the most in the league?
The one team?
Yeah,
I think there are a couple of like the one team that missed out on Jair Alexander. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think there's a couple that were going for him. Isaac? Anyone?
I heard the Rams were in talks with him, and they fell through. But I wouldn't see if anyone would be pissed off.
The reason I asked the question, I think it's Buffalo, because it's almost like an addition by subtraction, even though they didn't have him to begin with, but they wanted him. That's all the reports that I heard, is that they really wanted him. But then you have your league rival going to him, so you stay bad, they get better, and if I was Buffalo, I'd be pissed off at looking at that secondary. If I'm Josh Allen, but it's unreal what they're coming up with.
I think they would go to the top of my power rankings if they now with this signing. I think they're going to have the best all-round team in the league.
I think you're probably pretty right, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
definitely
close
top
to me.
three.
Well, they were top three before, and now they've gone out and got one
top
of the
three.
best in the league.
Yeah.
I'm just having a quick scan through the available free agents too to see who else is really out there, and there's not a lot, to be honest, in terms of defensive players, especially D-backs.
Plus, their first round draft pick Starks is, I think, going to be a stud as well. So that just adds to the secondary there.
Yeah.
They've got a lot on the back end. I think they do need to pick up some players at least in their sort of pass rush, because that was something that probably did handicap them last year with their pass defense, is that they didn't get to the quarterback enough. So that's probably where they probably need the most improvement, because I don't think it was more so on the back end. I think it was more so they need to actually get to the quarterback to make it obviously easier on the back end, but also to disrupt what they're actually doing on offense. Because obviously, if you're not getting to the quarterback, it doesn't matter how good your DBs are. Can you guard an NFL caliber receiver or tight end for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds? It is a tough gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, so I was just having a quick scroll through different defensive players who are still out there in terms of free agents, and when you go into the secondary part of defensive guys still out there, there's a lot of guys still out there, but the talent pool is pretty slim. And I think Asante Samuel is probably, and Rasul Douglas are probably the top ones there in terms of cornerbacks.
I wonder.
So any team that hasn't got a cornerback that was sort of banking on a bit of Jair Alexander, then they're sort of, you're going to be dropping down a fair bit now.
I wonder if
talent.
this puts a light or puts a fire under Baltimore to do something for Jalen Ramsey, just because.
Jalen Ramsey as well.
Well, because they,
Well, that question mark is still out there as well.
Did you
Yeah.
mean did you mean Baltimore going and getting Jalen Ramsey or Buffalo?
no, I mean Buffalo going and getting.
Oh, I thought you meant Baltimore. I'm going to be like,
No,
their
no. Sorry.
their six best DBs going to be better than most ones.
No,
I was confused.
Buffalo.
just on the-
Buffalo.
Just on that Jalen Ramsey, I heard he's in talks with the Steelers.
I think we talked about that last week that he should be.
Yeah.
I think. So that would be serendipitous. Anyone else got any NFL news before we move on tonight?
I got one, just the Aussie offensive tackle that signed with the Seahawks during the week, Luke Felix Forlolo.
yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really good to hear. Another Aussie in the league.
Another Aussie in the Seahawks too, by the
Yeah.
way.
That's no good. The other one, of course.
Nick's in this real juxtaposition where he wants to be able to root for the guy because he's an Aussie and a lineman as well, but that he's a Seahawk.
So he's
I was
like,
going to say the other one was Jesse Williams, who of course got the ability to meet a couple of weeks back at camp on the Saturday.
Oh, was he there at
Who
that
is
thing?
Still massive. He is
yeah.
massive.
Yeah.
He's out there with his Alabama, because obviously he won a couple of titles under Saban. He's got his Alabama stuff on. He's kitted out.
Did he
that would
gear
have
up?
been cool, man. That would have been sick.
No. As in like jacket and
okay.
like he was still playing for him. No, he didn't bring pads or anything.
Oh, I
He
was gonna
just
be
there,
like,
helping
what the?
the guys on.
Just showing off that he went to college and he was played under Saban. That was
I would have been a bit worried if I had to try out and I'm going up against a Super Bowl winning, multiple national champion defensive tackle.
But
If I had
wouldn't,
won that rep, mate, I would have got automatic selection.
wouldn't wouldn't that be cool though? Just for like a couple
would be
reps.
It would be cool.
It would give you a next level experience to go, oh my
would.
goodness, how good are these dudes? Yeah.
I would have. That's what you need to tell people. That's how you injured your hand, Nick. That's the story.
Yeah.
See. So,
Yeah, I'll whack Jesse Williams' helmet.
That's right.
Yeah.
You head slap.
It was a pancake block too, you know.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Jesse,
that's what you need to tell people.
Jesse, if you're listening to this, Nick has called you out. So
Avid listener,
mate.
Jesse.
Nick has definitely called you out, Jesse.
Oh god.
So just remember that.
One more
right.
thing that I'm
Go.
truly invested in the off season that
here we
we'll
go.
all know about here. Shador Sanders
This'll
was
absolute nonsense.
practicing with the third team, so Nick, it's not looking good for us, mate.
No, you know what?
Sanders-
I
No,
must
it's
say,
even better. The other thing that will derail your water bet as well is that Shador Sanders was
Yeah.
caught doing 101 mile an hour in his car this weekend on Tuesday, I think it was, and caught by the police. So that'll derail it too if he's Henry Ruggs the fourth.
Yeah.
so before I'd like to go back to Isaac, but before he decided to, get caught by the cops, I don't mind him and how he would, because technically he's still a 5th round pick, so obviously he's going to be with the backups. But the reason why I was a bit more optimistic before the speeding thing happened was because apparently there's been some rumors that they might be shopping around Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then he's got to beat out, Kenny Pickett, which he should be able to do, and then Joe Flacco is the starter. And it's like, is Joe Flacco really going to play more than 9-10 games in a year? Probably not.
Yeah, and I must say,
At 40 plus years old.
I'm more invested in this watching YouTube videos of people of the Cleveland Browns mini camps. I'm like, what is he doing?
You too.
Cleveland's never had this.
water bet.
Cleveland's never had this much attention ever.
Brad and I are just chilling about it because we're like, no, we're realists. We understand what's actually going to happen here.
We should have had this at 2-1 odds because it was so much harder.
my
All right,
favorite. Well, just real quick.
Brad, go.
Did you hear his explanation of it? Shadur's after the ticket. He
Here we go.
he spoke
No,
about
I
it. and
haven't heard that.
He says, "I'm just a little boy. I've made some wrong choices, and I can own up to it. I learned
nepotism.
from them.
Can I cash out on this bet?
Nepotism.
I'm just a little boy."
All right.
Don't do that to me, Nick. Don't do that to me.
You
Nah, we'll ride it. Fuck it.
Say
Yeah, write it out.
You'll get there. He'll still do it.
Good Lord. It's as bad as actually, off the top of my head, there's something else I heard this week. It says still all this media about Shedeur Sanders. Constant sure. How much have we seen about Cam Ward? Bugger all.
Not much.
Right? There's a six-part documentary coming out on Cam Ward. On the Cam Ward journey to the first overall pick. And it's made by an independent company, and it got picked up by a streaming company called Tubi. I think it is. Did you say
Tubi.
Or Tubi. Yeah, which is a free streaming one.
Yep.
Tubi sounds better. Tubi. So, so it got picked up by them. Six parts. Like, and it's just some random thing, and it's just picked up in this random spot, and it's just, I just dumbfounds me. I go, what is wrong with his management? Like, what is wrong with them? Honestly, find a new manager, because whoever you've got is not right for you, because they should be pushing your name in the media constantly. That's their job right now when you're not on an NFL field. It's push. And the whole reason that everyone sees and talks about Shedeur Sanders is because his manager is still his dad. And it's just, or his family. Like, I think it's more of his brother, his older brother. But, it's like, it's your family, and they're doing the right thing because they're pushing his name to everybody, to all of the insiders and everyone. Yet Cam Ward's management are doing nothing. They've got him making some random-ass doco by an independent company, and then it's a 6-part series that, amazingly, the better part of it is it comes out in September. So it starts in September. And
That's a bad
they
time.
haven't said what so it starts after week 1 has been played. They haven't said what the release schedule is, but you would assume that if it doesn't dump all at once, it'll be 6-parter, like week to week. So by week 6 of the NFL, if the Titans are 0-6, no one's watching that part 6. No one gives a shit about it past part 3.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Why would you be signing up for a docu-series before even playing a game? And on top of this, all of this, these college players are getting paid.
Yeah.
Like, they're coming into the league with at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he's a number 1 pick, so his signing bonus was, probably 8 figures. Do they really need to make this docu-series? Like, are we serious?
It just dumbfounded me. And I heard this on another podcast this week, and I was just like, what? And I went and looked up a little bit about it. I was like, oh my God, this is just nonsense. Like, what is his management doing? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway.
Going back to your first question, though, Ian, why is no one talking about Cam Ward? It's because he plays for the Titans, and they suck.
but Sanders is making the round, so that,
Correct.
Well said.
There's some truth there, but it's at the same time, it's just doesn't make any sense. He's still the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, true.
So that's why it doesn't make any sense at all. So anyway, boys, do you want to play a bit of a game?
Oh, you know I love the games.
Yep, let's
Sign
do
me
it.
up.
Let's do it, Saul.
So I'm not in this hoodie. It's too much money to get blood on this shit. So far this off-season, we've talked about GMs. We had a bit of a chat about GMs. We had a chat about head coaches, new head coaches in the league. We have had a chat about quarterbacks along the way. We talk about them constantly, but we also talked about the new quarterbacks. We talked about old ones, everything. So, a little bit of a game. Let's, you boys are going to pretend that you have been put in charge of a brand new franchise, or not just a franchise, and you get to choose a GM, a head coach, and a quarterback. But slow down, Brad. Don't go too soon. Who is more important to a new franchise? GM, head coach, or quarterback?
Oh, I love
And the reason I'm asking this question, slow down, Nick. We're going to do this draft style. And now I'm not going to let you have a pick of all 32. I have picked 4 of each for you to choose from, draft style. Okay?
Okay.
So you get to choose 1 of each. We'll be left over with 1 set, and we'll see we'll see that. But I just thought it'd be fun to throw this out to you boys, draft style, give you some options and go,
Yes.
who would you pick out of these options in a draft? And if you were to draft them, or if you had to go and pick them as a new franchise. And of course, so Brad, you're loving this. Just a little bit of a small amount of chat. Who do you think is more important to a franchise out of those three ones? Top class GM, a really good head coach, or a superstar quarterback who can do absolutely everything?
To me, it kind of depends on my timeline and what I'm looking at. If I'm looking for, okay, I've got a 5-7 year window, or less, I'm going QB. If I've got anything past that, I'm probably going head coach, and if I got anything past that, I'm going GM. Although head coach GM, that's a great question. That is a great question. But I think,
All right. Nick,
Sorry.
what do you reckon? Any thoughts?
Oh, 100% GM. The GM puts together
GM?
the team. The GM puts
Well,
together
I
a team. They can go through with, having an opinion on who the head coach should be, so you can go out and get a good head coach and, pick your spots when you're getting a quarterback. This is a GM. The GM takes care of the whole team.
GM doesn't play on the field though. It's
He
players
doesn't,
that-
but good GMs don't put bad teams out on the field.
Oh, so
There's some conviction in that, isn't it?
So yeah, I was just gonna
There is.
No, but
say,
seriously, think
There
about it.
is.
No, but think about it. Like,
No,
who are the two?
I
Who are
love
the two? Who are the two best GMs in the league? Right. Let's just straight off the top of your head. Who are the two best GMs in the league?
Howie Roseman,
Yep.
and then the Chiefs. Was it Brett Veach or Vici?
Oh,
Veach.
who are the last three Super Bowl winners?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
shit! Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then
Right.
you've got and then it flows. You got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
All right, Isaac, thoughts?
I'm going with head coach because he can have an input into the GM and he can also have an input into the QB and the team.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I mean,
I love that three of you've gone something different. It's amazing. All right, cool. I hadn't picked who was going to go first here, the draft order. Okay, so
random number generator.
Duck
Right,
race.
even better,
Duck race.
even better, Brad. Even better.
Oh, I love it.
Wheel of name, baby. Wheel
The
of names.
wheel of death.
I love it.
All right, ready? So first overall pick is going to go to. You don't know the names yet either. This is the best part. So
Are we snaking the order just as well?
yes,
Oh, fuck off.
Nick's going to be first overall. Well done. Oh, removal. No, we don't need to do that.
Like a bag of dicks.
All right, Isaac. It's Isaac or Brad. So whoever the first one comes.
Give me
out
the
here,
second
Isaac
pick.
or Brad.
Oh, damn.
Oh no!
This is how
So
we're going to
Brad
decide
is
the
on-
full order. The full order.
Brad is on the outsole. Beautiful. Yes, so it's typical snake draft. So Brad will get third and fourth picks, and then bring it on home. All right, we cool?
Okay, I like
Let's
this.
go.
Do you want to know the names yet?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Can I
So
hang
who's
on
the best?
just before we go any further? What about
Yeah.
coaches that are making decisions like GMs, like that are both?
No, I've given you four. So here's the names. I'll give you a second to think about it while we're doing it. Here's the four of each. Okay. So there's the guys you got to pick from: Howie Roseman, Ryan Poles, Chris Ballard, George Payton. Andy Reid, Kevin O'Connell, Mike Tomlin, Kevin Stefanski, and Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, and Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Do you want my pick now?
You can see there's method to the madness here. I've purposely picked some guys that are at the top end,
Yep.
and I purposely picked some guys in the middle, and then obviously someone who might be somewhere around the lower side. QBs, I've tried. I 100% tried not to pick. Well, I didn't want to pick any rookies. Obviously, I didn't want to pick any sort of second-year guys. Similar with the head coaches, didn't want to pick any first-year head coaches. GMs, technically Ryan Poles is in his second year, maybe it's third, but yeah. So, so they're the guys,
Let's do it.
righto.
Let's do it, baby.
Okay.
So, Nick, you've got the first overall pick. Who would you take? You can take either one of them. You can pick GM, head coach, or QB. So you don't have to pick one at a time. You can take anything from that list, but you can only have one of each.
All right, cool. Easy. First pick, Howie Roseman.
Boom, like that.
Like that.
Okay.
Isaac?
All right. Can I talk my way through it?
Yeah, talk your way through it. Absolutely talk your way
So
through
I'm thinking about like Brad's situation there. How long do I have? So if I had a 3-year span, I'd take Andy Reid. But if I had a 7-year span, I'd take Kevin O'Connell.
Well, let's say you're coming in brand new, okay?
Yep.
We can assume that Carolina Panthers style, you get given a 7 or a 10-year contract. You're technically only going to have 3 years to achieve something. Otherwise, someone's going to boot you anyway.
Yep.
Because that's just what happens in the league. So it doesn't really matter if someone gives you a 7 or a 10-year contract these days, because it means shit. There are more head coaches and GMs are getting payments and not even anything to do with the NFL anymore than there are guys actually in the NFL. So there's a massive amount of money out there, especially if you've been part of the Panthers or the Raiders at some point.
Okay, I'll take Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, go on the coach.
Go on the coach.
Go on the coach. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, Brad. Pick number 3. GM and a head coach already gone. What are you going for?
Yeah, this is a fascinating exercise.
I've been waiting weeks for this game, Brad. Till all 4 of us were together. I thought it would be a boring game without 4 of us, and I didn't want to be involved because I like to. I don't know. I kind of wanted to do the Saw thing and play a puppet master.
Oh no, I like it. I really like it. So, I don't blame either guy for doing that. But I mean, all you have to do is look at the NFL and realize how important quarterbacks are. And,
I love that you're going QB.
and how rare a good one is. So I am hands down taking Josh Allen. So I am stoked about that. Thank you very much.
Nice.
So that is one of each off the board, and the top 3 guys arguably in the league right now. Yeah, gone. The top 3 guys definitely in our exercise. So that is great that worked out that way. Well done. So Brad, you're on the snake. Let's.
I love this is the high class.
What sort of snake was that?
I promise you that noise come out of Ian's mouth.
It sounded like
Definitely.
It sounded like a rattlesnake on Tourette's. Like, what the hell's going on there?
Yes, that did come out of my mouth, and I definitely could have made a different noise as well. Brad, you got the 4th pick?
Yeah, I do.
Your head coach or GM from those guys on that list?
yeah.
Talk us through it, Brad. Talk us through it.
To me personally, this is a no-brainer because Roseman's gone, and I like Patton, and Poles has come good this year. Ballard, hey man, when you take Anthony Richardson, you're just no, sorry. But we've got the quarterback whisperer there. For a head coach, and forget stability. Mike Tomlin, thank you very much. I don't want to be 500 for the rest of my life. So, Stefanski, yeah, you're a great offensive mind, but no, you haven't been able to do anything with Deshaun Watson. So, give me some Kevin O'Connell love.
Yeah, nice.
That man could make broccoli taste good. So I am. Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell and Josh Allen together.
Yeah.
Oh, as a Vikings fan, that is, give me Josh Allen with Kevin O'Connell.
Could you imagine?
I did deliberately put, and I want to, yeah, boys can talk about it a bit more, but I deliberately put Kevin Stefanski in there because I think he's had a bad go.
Oh yeah.
I think
yeah.
ownership-wise is way too involved there. And he has not been able to. We know the potential of Kevin Stefanski, so that's the other reason I stuck him in there because I thought he'd be really interesting. So,
No, just real quick on that. I think he's really underrated. I would completely agree with you. And you saw he didn't want to draft Sanders. Shador. You saw that in his reaction, and that's an owner decision. So I think it's just he's getting just vilified, but the reality is he's going to make a great OC when he gets fired from this Browns position.
All right, Isaac, you're in the middle. GM or a QB? Where are you
I'm going
going?
with the GM, and I'm going to go George Patton. I think he's done really well what he's done at the Broncos since he came in 2021. He's gone out and got Sean Payton. Great job. And they made the playoffs with Sean Payton.
And Bo Nix.
Yeah, that's right.
What a pick.
Yeah.
What a pick. All right, Nick.
Look
The
at that.
the sixth pick.
Jeez, I'll tell you what.
You
I
got a
got two
head
picks,
coach?
don't I? I got two.
Yeah, you got a head coach or a quarterback. You can go here
Well,
before I get to make another snake sound.
I'll tell you what. I don't know. I don't know how I've manufactured this, but with this draft, I'm taking Super Bowl experience across the board. Give me Mike Tomlin and give me Matt Stafford.
Nice.
Oh,
Howie Roseman is drafting the entire team. Mike Tomlin's still got a good defense, and you got Matthew Stafford, who's been good. In the playoffs, has Super Bowl winning experience. Mate, no one's beating my team. Just wrap it up now. Thank you for that. No worries.
Isaac, your QB.
Give me the Prince of Duval. Trevor Lawrence, baby. I think since he's come into the league, I think he's going to come into his own. He had Urban Meyer the first year, made the playoffs I think he made the playoffs the second year, and then riddled with injuries last year. He'll come good again this year.
So, Brad, back to you for the last pick. You've got Ryan Poles or Chris Ballard to choose from.
yeah. That's Do I have my right eye poked out? Do I have my left eye poked out? Jeez.
What's your problem with Ryan Poles, mate?
No, actually, to me, it's clear. I'll take polls. Just the fact that he's responded, he's realized the needs for Caleb Williams. He's responded. He's gone out and got some good help for him. So prior to that, and we'll still see how it plays out. But prior to that, wasn't that impressed with what he's done. But no, I think I definitely would take polls over Ballard.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, that means, so at the end of that, Nick's got Howie Roseman, Mike Tomlin, Matt Stafford. Isaac has George Payton, Andy Reid, Trevor Lawrence. Brad has Ryan Poles, Kevin O'Connell, and Josh Allen. How are you feeling about those boys? We're feeling pretty well. We know Nick's feeling pretty good.
Well, I'm winning
He
the
feels
Super
like-
Bowl. So
Nick's gone the manjot route of I've won the draft.
Yeah.
So let's
Okay, here we go, Puppet Master. You can rank them as
yes,
as we are live.
yes.
rank those three.
please.
I would put Nick at 1. No, I wouldn't. I would put Brad at 1.
I thought you were going to say something like, the ayahuasca was
Sucked in.
I would put Brad at 1. I'd put Nick at 2. I would put the leftovers at 3, and I'd put Isaacs at 4. I would put Brad at 1 because I think Ryan Poles has done an outstanding job especially this last off season. In terms of recruitment, he's just done. He's very, very silently building a very, very good team. They've just got they had to find a head coach that actually works with the team, which is the problem that they had at the start.
You know what, Ian?
But I think again
He could have done it 1 year earlier, but he kept Eberflus on.
He could have, but I don't think
Exactly.
the Eberflus decision was the Ryan Poles decision, which is what I was getting at. I have a feeling that they kept Eberflus on because they knew it was going to be one more year for Ben Johnson, to be honest. And then you've got Kevin O'Connell and Josh Allen together. Like, come on, please. No one's stopping that. That's Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes level.
Or Andy Reid and
if
Trevor
not
Lawrence
more.
level. That's fine.
Yeah. The only thing that lets me down on Nick's, I think, over Brad's is Mike Tomlin. I don't even think Howie
Sorry.
Roseman could stop Mike Tomlin being
I'm
at
sorry.
500.
How many Super Bowls has Kevin O'Connell won?
Oh,
Let's start with a playoff win first. All right, come on now.
Calm down. 3 years.
It's
mate.
about
That's
winning in the
third year
playoffs.
in the league, right?
You know, get in.
Third
Do
year in the
1
league.
year.
How many
Get the Super Bowl.
How many years has Mike Tomlin been at 500 as a head coach?
19.
That's all right. Look, it doesn't matter. He still won the
Every
same
one of
amount of playoff games as
Every
Kevin
one.
O'Connell in that time.
And then for real, I don't know. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is probably the only thing that really lets Isaac's team down. But that's only because it's an unknown still. I think he's still there, but I think he's still an unknown. I genuinely think Trevor Lawrence will do way better on
Yes.
any other franchise in the league.
Yes.
To be honest,
Yeah.
Yep.
Particularly with Andy Reid.
I still don't believe. Sorry, Matty, that the Jags are ever going to get anything out of him, even with Ben Johnson now. So. I just don't. Sorry,
Not
yeah.
Ben
No.
Johnson.
It's not
Liam
Ben
Cohen.
Johnson.
I was going to say.
Liam Cohen.
Liam Cohen.
I've got Ben Johnson on the head. It's going south very quickly. We haven't even hit midnight. Yeah, so I don't know. I just think Trevor Lawrence. But so the other four is Chris Ballard, Kevin Stefanski, and Kyler Murray. Talk about I don't know. There's an almost an underrated thing to all three.
Yes.
Where they could be they're like dark horses. Could be good. Like sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Like it's all three of them. And it is funny to me that those three came out at the bottom, considering how I picked these up. Yeah, and how I picked these out. So well done, boys.
That was
there's
fun. That was
there's
good.
a quick game for the week.
That was a great exercise. That's good.
And
That's really good.
And I love that I got a different answer out of every one of you about what is the most important to a franchise. That is great. You played the game well, boys.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you for that content. And if you would like more stellar content, check out Aussie Gridiron Network on all forms of social media. Look for us on YouTube at Pastry Press NFL, or like I said earlier, just search for G'day Gridiron. You will find on YouTube and on the podcast streams at the moment, if you haven't been on one or the other, if you haven't really looked lately, a couple of interviews up around the local game. We've done an interview with Rod from Gridiron Shop Australia and with Matt Campbell from Hunter Gridiron League. You'll hear this whole thing on Saturday, hopefully. Sunday at 11 a.m, Matty, Manjot and myself are all going to be down at Mayfield in Newcastle for Hunter versus ACT. That is going to be an amazing day. I'm really looking forward to going there and do a lot of interviews, so check that out. But yeah, follow us on all the socials. You'll find everything at linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. Boys, thank you very much for a sports podcast. We basically just had a sports podcast, not even just an NFL one this week, and I like it. I like it a lot. It might be what we have to do for the next couple of weeks, because fuck knows what we're going to do when the NFL goes dark for 4 weeks. July might be a bit tricky, but we'll see. We'll figure it all out. Maybe it is a good time for me to have a holiday. All right, boys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
See you later.